Hi, and welcome to the Peak Endurance Podcast. Episode 143 is a follow-up interview with Tom Dade. He comes on this time to talk to us about all the races he did towards the end of 2021. And it's an amazing story. Hear how he coped, how he dealt with the DNF, and his 2022 plans. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you head to my website, peakendurancecoaching.com.au. You think I'd know that off by heart? And get going on the goal setting webinar that's coming up on the 12th of January. Now, I've had people ask if they can access it if they're not able to attend on the actual date or if they're in a different time zone, and the answer is yes. All participants will be sent a recording of the webinar, whether or not you can attend on the actual date or time. The only difference will be that you won't be able to participate, obviously, in the live Q&A. Other than that, it will be the full webinar with booklets, checklists, and an actual PDF of the webinar itself. And all this for only $35 for a good 90-minute, maybe longer, or $55 if you pay for 2 tickets at once. If you want to set up your 2022 right, get on board and let's focus on setting some amazing running goals. The link will be in the show notes of the podcast, or just head to my website, peakendurancecoaching.com.au. Are you sick and tired of being injured or running in pain or with niggles? Ensure you are ready for racing this year and come in and see the team at Health and High Performance. Love your running again by heading to healthhp.com.au/run, or you can easily find them on Instagram, Health High Performance, where they have heaps of helpful videos. Now, if you want to get more awesome running info, make sure you join the Peak Endurance Running group on Facebook. Just look up Peak Endurance Running. It's a great place for all things endurance running. Enjoy this episode with Tom. Hi, Tom, and welcome back to Peak Endurance Podcast.
Me as well. How are you going?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you.
That's good. Now, look, you have been on an absolute whirlwind of races. I don't know how else to describe it. It seems like, well, it was every weekend you were doing a different race. Now, can you, like last time we spoke, you just started on this, but can you talk us through the races and maybe give us a little, firstly, tell us all the different races you did and then we'll go through them all. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds, we can do that. Yeah. So, yeah, after obviously COVID, everything opened up again, we could finally do the races. And I think that started, was it about first week in November? I think it was.
Yes, the first weekend, yep.
I remember it was November. So, yeah, so I started that week off with the Marysville 50K.
Yep.
And which I was able to win that race, which is nice.
Yeah, that's always nice.
And then the weekend following, that was the Great Southern Endurance Run, the 100-miler there.
Yep.
And again, I was even after the course change and things like that, I was able to win that one as well.
Yeah.
And then weekend after that there was the Macedon 50K on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Which I ended up coming fourth in. And the night before that, it was more of a fun race, but the after go, just 21K down at the Surf Coast.
Yeah.
Weekend after that was the roller coaster run up at the Dandenongs.
That's right.
And that's where I did the 12K. And then the day after did the 46K.
Yeah, I think it's 46. It's a bit longer this time.
So it was a bit longer this time. I won the 12K, and then ended up coming third on the 46. And I ran the wrong way in that one, so that added an extra 3K, but I still would have come third anyway. But so there's that. And then weekend after that was Yu Yang's 100-miler and the 50K. I did the 100-miler, came second. And was able to start the 50K, but honestly, I was pretty gone.
I don't know why.
And so I actually, when I ended up starting the 50K an hour late, an hour behind yet, because I actually wasn't going to do the 50K, but I went to slept in the car, woke up feeling okay. Because by that stage, I think from all the races, the accumulative fatigue and not getting enough sleep during the week because of work, I'd only be getting 4 or 5 hours sleep all week in between all these races. And I think it finally got to me. But anyway, I went to the car. I had, I think it was 1 2 hours sleep. It felt kind of okay to start. So it started, but then as soon as I went up Flinders Peak, that first thing, I was like, it was the first time ever. I was like, I don't think I can do this. I even called my partner. Mel was like, I'm calling it quits, but she kept me going. So I tried to finish. Got to 30K. I wasn't going to make the official cutoff time for the 50K because I ended up I could only walk by the end there. But Brett gave me the option to continue till, which if I worked it out, I would have been there till 9, 10 at night on the Sunday, which would have been after the official cutoff. I just said, no, I've got, I want to be home by Sunday night and don't make the official cutoff. So pull the plug and ended up DNFing the 50K. So
that was nice of Brett to give you that option, but
it was. Brett's awesome. Yeah, Brett's awesome like that.
Yeah, but you wanted to do it within the official time as well. Yeah. So yeah, all righty. So let's go back to Marysville. So you started off guns blazing, 50K. You came first. Yeah. How was that race?
That was great. That was race because I also had GCR the weekend after, so that wasn't my main priority. So I was kind of just taking it steady, just going kind of how the body felt at a good, I was already say going like 85% race pace. Wasn't pushing anything. But I just kind of found going up the hills, I kind of had some pace on the others and kind of fell into the lead. Feeling good. But then towards the end there, a few did overtake me. And I was ended up in third. But what I think if they didn't have some certain issues, I probably would have ended up coming third because the one that was winning had a bad stack, Liam. So he kind of was outish. He finished, but was kind of not so great after that. And then Dan, who I was running with pretty much from 10, 15K onwards all the way to 45K, he would have, his plan was to let just go loose at the end and sprint at the end, but he cramped about 4Ks left. And then that kind of, once he cramped, and I was like, oh, I could actually win. That's when I pushed. And
the thing is, you didn't stack and you didn't cramp. So on the day, you were the better runner. And it's not. I'm sure they would agree too.
Yeah, that's what they said too. But
so, you can never look at it and go, oh, if that hadn't happened to them, but it did, and it didn't happen to you. So, there's that.
Yeah.
And so, what did you do for recovery after that, leading into GSER?
Yeah. I pretty much, from then on, I stopped any long runs. I didn't run any more than 10K.
Yeah.
From then on, I ran less. I think I had, just easy runs in between those two. No more training that was exerting, like high, at least when it came to cardio. I kept my weights the same.
Yeah.
Something I'm aware of, I lose weight very easily. So keeping the weights up and making sure I eat kind of helps to.
And so were you doing heavy weights or just moderate weights?
I still go pretty heavy. Besides like the legs, I did say like I did legs I think on the Wednesday because they felt okay. If they weren't, I wouldn't have done it. But I did legs on the Wednesday, I think before GSER. And just still going heavy. So I mean, heavy for what was heavy after COVID because I was pretty weak, and still recovering from that. But yeah, still, I kind of my weights I kind of train like a bodybuilder would, or so that type of training. Still the weights still went heavy. Yeah. Just kept an eye on the legs, and added in a few swims, and lots of massage.
So then you rocked up at GSER, and because of the terrible weather, it was changed to the 28-kilometer loop.
Yeah.
And I was there, volunteering, and I saw you come through in first after the first loop, and you just looked fresh as a daisy, and so far ahead of second. So you know, I could tell it was going to be a good day for you.
Yeah.
How did you feel on the start line?
Yeah, I felt really good. I felt even better than I did before Marysville, which was nice. And then so yeah, I kind of just took off again at a comfortable pace, like I did at Marysville, on that first loop. And the first climb up the northwest spur was like, for how steep it was felt pretty easy. And then as you go up, kind of past Feathertop and then back down, that felt pretty good too. So kind of pushed the downs a bit there, and whilst keeping it smart.
Yeah.
And did that first leap pretty easy, and kind of just continued the momentum for the rest of the loops.
Did you have any dark moments at all?
You know what? No
That's
dark
awesome.
moments. Yeah. Yeah, none really, that's always a win. Like I had times like in your head, you're like I've done 3 loops. I've still got 3 more, and I think it was 6 loops. Yeah. 6 loops. But yes, I did 3, and you had 3 or 4, and you got to climb again, and like that psychological thing with the loops. But there was never a time that was super low. The worst time probably would have been, I think it was 3rd or 4th, and my headlamp batteries had been changed the wrong way around.
Oh no.
So my headlamp was crap. I will stop working. My hands froze, so I couldn't undo the batteries, and
oh no,
kind of all messed up. And my spare one, because the course had changed, we didn't have to have our second one with us.
Yes.
So that was still in my bag.
Oh crap.
So
what did you do?
Well, that's when Matt and Megan let me borrow theirs.
That was nice.
Their headlamp. So but yeah, I ended up standing there in the dark. I think it was the one with something in the morning, just standing there in the dark for 40 minutes trying to
But where was that at?
That was just before Trout Farm. I was at the Trout Farm.
And so did you ring Matt and Megan or something?
Yeah, because they noticed, because I actually got lost. So
I
couldn't see where I was going anymore.
Yeah.
I went the wrong way. I was like, this is wrong. I look at my watch. I'm like, yeah, the thing says I'm a bit off. So I ran back. I also get a call from them like, are you okay? You're running off. I was like, yeah, I'm okay, but my headlamp is not working. They said, okay, we can get this sorted for you.
Well, that's awesome. That's great.
So that was the only time, because I was standing there for 40 minutes. It was like, losing time here. Yeah.
So wow, and you still won by a large margin. So that's awesome. What did you do for nutrition during that race?
I just ate like just food. So I kind of just went to Woolworths beforehand, and I kind of look around. I'm like, that looks good.
Yeah.
And just I know like my digestion and everything works pretty well with all that. So just like muffins and cookies and cakes. I'll have like my like certain nutritious things that I think are like essential for me. So like I have like peanut butter sandwiches with salt, as like the kind of hold me together, like the healthier foods. But other than that, it was very no gels or anything like that. And I just used the electrolytes that were provided. I think that was hammer. Yeah.
And what about at Marysville? Did you take in nutrition then?
This is horrible.
Okay.
So because again, work and everything was crazy, and I had night shift the night before. So that day before leaving was all terrible, and I didn't get to bed till 12 a.m. So I didn't pack any food or anything, and I was running on 3-4 hours sleeping in there. And so I know I can run 50k with no food. So I know I'm okay. But going up, I just partner of mine just stopped off at a petrol station. I went and got a couple cookies, and there's like these dino bars, which are actually good. There's like these dino bars you can get at petrol stations. They're made out of dates.
Oh yeah.
And like actually healthy whole foods, and had a couple of those. And so I had 2 of those and a cookie, I think.
I mean, that's better than nothing, and it's carbs. It's what you need if you're
at the end of the day.
Hard.
If you can just do food and all your body needs.
Yeah, that's it. All righty. So then the following week, it was Afterglow, and I was there again,
Yes.
to sweep. And I saw you were all dressed up. So that was
Yeah.
good to see that you got in the spirit of it.
Yeah.
So how did that one go?
Yeah, that went good too. I put myself, because there was two waves. There's the first one, which was the
Yes.
slower, and the second one, and I thought I'd be just dead. So I put myself in the slower wave.
Well, that's what I thought, because I was sweeping. I was there with
Yep.
the faster wave, and I'd noticed that you had gone in on the first bus.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah, so I thought I wouldn't have a chance. So I put myself in that wave, which I actually again felt pretty good. And was winning that first wave
Yeah.
all the way to the end when I got to the beach. But I was so much faster than they were expecting any runners.
Oh.
That instead of going to the beach and doing that last loop on the beach, I ran up.
Oh.
I ran up all the way along and then got to the beach. And then they said, "What are you doing? You're going the wrong way." So I had to turn around. So I had an extra, I think, 4K there.
So they hadn't actually marked that part where you go onto the beach.
Well,
Yeah.
they apparently, I think, well, they didn't tell you which way to go. Apparently there's marshals were there telling people which way to go, but since they weren't expecting anyone so soon, that I was there. I was wondering, because no one was saying anything. It was like everyone was standing around like you would before a race kind of starts.
Yeah. Oh no.
I paused and I knew. Even the the runner chats guys, as I ran past, kind of like talking on the thing, and they even mentioned like he doesn't know where he's going. But they didn't say anything to call me back, so I thought, okay, I must be on the right way. So, but I think I was running at I think I was averaging like a 4:40-ish, 4:35-ish pace at that stage for the race. So I think if that didn't happen, I think I would have come maybe top 5 or 6, even after the including the faster wave. But that kind of.
Oh well.
So yeah, which was fine because that was just a fun race, and I didn't mind so much. So.
Yeah, and it is a fun race. It's
a great fun race. Yeah.
But that's down at the beach, and then you've got to go all the way over to Macedon for the next day.
Sleep. So we got finished that at night and then drove over. So again, my partner has a house at her parents have a house at Hepburn Springs, which is
nice,
pretty close to Macedon. So we stayed there. We just drove from Surf Coast to there.
Yeah.
I think we got there about 11, 12 at night, something like that. And then so went straight to sleep and then got up for Macedon 5 hours later. You're seeing a pattern here, which
I am. It's not a good one either.
Fatigue at Yuyangs. So then Macedon, which was I think we had to be there 6:30 or something. I think for that. So that was another quick.
And how did you go with that one?
So that one, I enjoyed the run. It was a really good trail and really good.
I love Macedon.
Yeah, Macedon. Sorry. And I ran with a friend that I actually met at Unbreakable, Chris. I ran with him most of the race, kind of until he kind of dropped off. So I really was just enjoying that one, but I couldn't. I was a little by the end. I was pretty disappointed. A little bit disappointed with how I went. I was like, I knew I could have went faster than I did. I knew I could have pushed a bit more.
At what stage could you have pushed more?
I think the whole race.
But if the intention going in is to have fun, then you shouldn't be disappointed.
Yeah, I know. This is true. This is true. But the other thing was, I was also just seeing Chris too. He actually really inspired me that run, because he was like, I'm just gonna go out and stay with you until I blow up. And he's gonna push as hard as I can to stay with you until I blow up. And that's exactly what it did. And he ran his best race he's ever run before.
There you go. See, so you should take pride in that too.
Well, I didn't take pride. I just was just inspired by it. I was like, because I've done all these runs. The theme is like I kind of be at a comfortable pace, and then the place just kind of happens going at a comfortable pace. I didn't remember the last time I went out and actually went out to try and run hard and push myself. So seeing him really push himself kind of inspired me for and also Tim, who came second, another one I met, Unbreakable. kind of really inspired me to push for
Yeah.
the weekend after. So that's kind of what I got from that race more than anything, was just seeing these guys push.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So then the following weekend, roller coaster run, and they had the 12K on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And you
Friday
won
night,
that. Sorry?
No, Saturday night. Yes, you're right. You're right. Sorry.
Okay.
Saturday night. Yeah.
And so you won that.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing, because like it's short and snappy, so it's like completely different to what you've been doing as well, longer runs.
Yeah. So, but again, that was all because after that weekend after, I was like, I'm going to push, and so I kind of pushed it hard, and it kind of worked out all right, I guess. Yeah, with the hills, and so. And then
the full race on the Sunday, the 40.
Yep.
Well, I think it's normally about 44K. I think, I don't know. I know the course has changed a bit, and you did a little bit extra just for fun, and talk us. How were you feeling? Were you still feeling good in the legs and everything's feeling good?
Oh, I know. Well, I noticed within the first, because again, I went out racing. I wanted to try and push hard, and within the first 5K, I was like, my legs are pretty fatigued. They're feeling heavy, and so. Coming off the gates was like that, and when I was in second place for the first 5K or so before I went the wrong way, and then so the body was feeling pretty fatigued. But once I went the wrong way and then turned around, and I ended up being, I think I was like 65th or 69th after going the wrong way.
Oh no!
After feeling that, and all the nerves kind of got to me. The mind's powerful. I kind of forgot that I had tired legs.
Yeah.
And then then it got really fun. It was like trying to pick off each person in front of you.
That's fun doing that.
And that preoccupied my head, which kind of took away from the pain in my legs.
Yeah.
That run. So I actually really really happy went the wrong way, because that became really enjoyable, that run. That just went so fast because of that reason.
Oh, that's a great positive way of reframing it. So that's good.
Yeah.
All righty. So then the Yuyangs, now, did that start on the Friday?
Saturday morning.
Okay. Sometimes they start milers on a Friday.
Yeah, they usually start Fridays. Miles, I find.
Yeah. Okay. So that started what time Saturday morning?
8.
Oh wow, that's pretty late too.
Yeah.
All right. And how did that go? You came second, so obviously well.
Yeah. So that again also went really well.
Who won it?
Tim. Failed to say his last name.
Oh, don't know.
He did Unbreakable.
Okay.
But he's a really solid runner, Tim, in his own right. He's won it before. I think he had.
Okay.
Yeah. He ended up doing it sub 20. So.
Wow.
Like I was coming second wasn't because I did it slow. It was just because I was really competitive.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah. Sorry, I was just wondering. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, how did you feel when you got going?
Yeah, I felt good. That whole. Oh, actually, that's a lie. Actually, physically, I felt pretty good. Mentally, even the night before, I was like pretty emotionally drained, if I'm honest. I even remember the night before, I was even, because my partner also attempted to do the 100-mile, and I even was like, I was like, I might even DNF this. I'm going to pull out this and that, and I wasn't in a good headspace. Like, I'm way too tired, just feel like crap.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing that's just the accumulated fatigue.
Yeah, so I'm playing it down too. But so at the start of that, mentally, I was just kind of putting on a happy face. But once I got started and got into it and physically started to feel okay, it kind of slowly went away, at least for the first 5 to 6 loops. And then when it got to nighttime, around, I don't know, 11, 12, 1 in the morning, that's when it started to get to me again. And because I think just sleep, I needed sleep. So I think I was winning at that stage. And then I just kind of, I was doing loops pretty consistently at around so each 21K loop around 220-ish, I think.
Okay, yeah.
And then I kind of had a big drop off, went to like 240 and then 250, I think. And then eventually started to drop off. I think the second last one was 3 something.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I just in my running legs started to lose my running legs, and Tim kind of crept up and got past me and just built that lead more and more the more loops he did.
You still got to be pretty proud of yourself for everything that you'd managed to accomplish.
I was stoked, and still like the time I got it was still 21 hours 50 something. So it's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, it's always been like kind of a dream of mine to sub 24 hours. So I just
well, you did that easily.
Yeah.
And after such a number of weeks beforehand, I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah. I was stoked. I mean, nothing really to complain about. I was still happy with the work I did.
Yeah.
No, and I still think, honestly, even if I was still good, I don't think I would have had any business of winning. Because Tim's super solid. So
yeah, fair enough. All right. So what time? 21 hours. I couldn't be bothered doing the maths. Tell me what time you end up finishing it.
I could say that
5 a.m.
Yeah, well, I think it was 4:50 something a.m. I think.
Yeah.
So then from there, I pretty much went straight to the car.
And were you able to sleep? Like, I get twitchy legs when I've been running.
I do get twitchy legs, but I was able to I'm starting to get used to it that going to sleep in pain. So yeah, I was able to get an hour or so, and
what time did the 50K start at?
That started at 8 again. So you had to do it you had to do it exactly at 24 hours to be able to do it again. But I actually went to sleep like I said to Mel, I was like, I'm not doing the 50.
Okay.
Yeah. But then I kind of woke up, and then out of the car, and I was kind of partly regretting that I didn't try it.
Yeah.
But then I actually went to start packing up, and I had my thongs on. I was walking along, and then Brett came up, and he had a big smile on his face. He's like, "Oh, so you're doing it?" And I was like, "Oh, shit."
Because once that's said, you kind of have to.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, all right." So I was like, "I can still do it, can I?" Because at the time I think it might have been 8:40 or something like that, or maybe even 9. Maybe I started at 9:30. And he's like, yeah, you can still start. Obviously, you lost some time, but you can still do it. And at the time, I was like, oh, it's not that. I mean, I can do 50K that quick. Because I was feeling so much better as well, walking around there. So yeah, I ended up starting that at 9:30. I think an hour and a half behind the others. So.
And I remember seeing on Insta and Facebook, you'd posted about DNFing. Is that the first race you've DNF'd?
No, actually. So I DNF'd Run the Lighthouse, which is the one at Wilson's Prom, another Trials Plus with Brett at the start of the year. That was coming up after Oscars and the Backyard Ultra, the MVP Backyard Ultra I did. Which I did 200K in, so I had some niggles and things leading up into that one, and then I got to about 16K of a 100K event, and I just couldn't run anymore. It was weird. I could run the ups, I couldn't run downs, and I couldn't run flat.
Oh, there you go.
And then by the very end, I couldn't run at all. So I was like, I'm calling it. I could have walked it all and finished it.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's just not worth it.
It's not what you signed up for.
Yeah. Which actually, DNFing that hurt a lot. Then been my first DNF ever.
Yes. Yeah. But, sometimes you just need to DNF.
Yeah. Nothing's wrong with it.
No. As long as you don't make a habit of it, then there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. So it's a smart move.
Yeah.
And I guess technically you could say I DNF 3 times this year, because Backyard Ultra, if you don't win, it's a DNF.
Oh yeah, wow.
So
it's not quite the same.
Yeah, but it's not quite the same. And also the Unbreakable, another Trials Plus event, which is based at the Barclays. I got 3 loops. I got like the fun run equivalent finished, but wasn't able to.
Once again, that's not a standard DNF.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'd say the one was the Run the Lighthouse before this one. So
yeah. And so even though, in spite of all the races that you had done and done so well and completed, did that last DNF still get to you?
Honestly, it actually, for me, at least initially, it really kind of ruined the whole weekend. I should have nearly been celebrating coming second and doing 100 miles, but instead I was all chatted that I'd given up on the 50K.
our brain has a tendency to want to focus on the negative thing.
It always does.
Because that's a survival mechanism. And so, but it's hard to push past what's instinctive. But really, you have accomplished so much that DNF should just fade into insignificance.
It should, if the brain was logical like that.
Yes, that's right, but it's not.
It's not. It's like, with time, you kind of look back on it, and some other smarter people coming from an outside perspective kind of set you straight.
And someone once said to me, DNF stands for do nothing foolish. So, what you did was the smart move, and not just for yourself, but also for all the people volunteering for the race.
That's the other thing. I mean, because for me to keep going, I know Pat was up. He's like, oh, I'm so happy he kind of pulled out, because he would have to walk all the way up Flinders Peak with the timing thing and back down. And I know they had some people down.
Yeah. So, I mean, you were thinking of them too, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you got them, and then also my partner would have had to stay there until. Yeah. And she just had she also is DNF 100 miles, so she was pretty shattered herself, and wasn't health-wise wasn't good either.
Yeah. So I think it was the right decision, not just for you, but for everyone. So
I agree.
Yeah. So it's certainly nothing to be ashamed of or feel bad about. So after all of that, I mean, I'm just exhausted just hearing about it. Please tell me you're having a rest.
Yeah, at least, I did a really awesome experience. So the weekend after that, so just the weekend past, I did like this Halora marathon. I wasn't.
God, of course, yes, you did too. I saw.
Yeah, I wasn't going to race. It wasn't to race, and I wasn't actually going to do it. But there's Ray, someone I've kind of met online, really good.
Ray Osborne.
Yeah, Ray Osborne. Yeah, he entered his son, who's like only 15, to run the marathon. But they needed, because it was on the road for the first 18K, they needed someone who was older who kind of be with him to run it, so he wasn't be able to run without it. So I was like, that's a pretty awesome thing to do at 15.
Yeah,
it's not that far away. So I kind of just put my hand up to run the marathon with him.
Good for you.
So it wasn't a race for me. It was just watching him go through, and that's a pretty amazing experience to see this 15-year-old kid. Like, I remember at that age, I was only like the super elite people that ran the marathons. Like, it wasn't just like a 15-year-old kid. So that was pretty awesome. So I did that.
Where is that Halora marathon? Where? I'd never even heard of it until I saw people's posts. Like, I have no clue.
Oh, yeah, it's it. Do you know, it's around Druin and Warragul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, down there, and it's I think it is kind of just starting to pick up a bit now. I remember I did it in 2019.
Oh, okay. Wow. This was the first time I'd ever heard of it. So there you go.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a low key one.
Yeah, which I quite like the low key ones.
Same. I really like them. Yeah.
All right. So you're going to have a rest night?
Yeah. Yes.
Uh-huh.
New Year's Eve, I'm doing
sure. What are
New Year's Eve, I'm doing the 50K.
Of course you are.
But I don't know. I consider the rest. I mean, what's it? 3 weeks? 3 weeks off now. Probably 3 weekends off.
Yeah.
And training wise now, it's just train, because I enjoy training, so it's just to train for fun, just so do my weights and.
But the training for fun is good mentally, because it's not just a physical rest you need; it's the mental.
For me right now, that's the biggest thing, because honestly, I'm just fatigued. Just like even before that Halora marathon run, I was just like, 42 kilometers seems so much further than it did 3 weeks ago. So yeah, that's how you know that. Yeah, I'm pretty stuffed mentally.
Now, I interviewed Sean Kessler earlier this week, and he's the race director for the Triple Crown Under, which you are planning on doing. And he tells me that the Western Australia border is meant to be opening around the 19th, 20th of Jan.
Yeah. Well, that's just been updated. So it's been confirmed that the 5th of February, which is right before that, we'll all be allowed to be in with no isolation. So it's pretty much go ahead. We'll go ahead. I've actually just booked flights for that now. So that's, unless I get COVID personally beforehand, which you never know at the moment.
Well, you've got a reduced immune system at the moment, so just be careful out there.
unless that happens, then yeah, we had to actually do it. So that's pretty amazing.
So exciting. I'm so wrapped for you. When he was telling me that, I was thinking, oh, that's so good, because Tom will be able to go and do his the Triple Crown Under, because I think that's the 200 miles. I think you will excel at that. And this is your first 200 miler?
Yeah, first 200 miler. So it's going to be. Yeah.
So for the 200 miler, what's going to be your longest run? Other than the 100-mile races you've done, which is pretty good training for it.
Yeah, the down under would have been my longest one, so 135 miles.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would have been my longest.
But I mean, for now until then.
Until then?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I kind of looked at all these races.
Because you don't want to do too much before then. It's not that far away.
Yeah, no. The before then, I don't think I'll do much more longer. I mean, probably like a 50, 60K.
That's honestly, what I think that's smart, because you don't really need, you've got the miles in your legs. You don't.
I feel like I've got the endurance in my legs and the system now. I think it's just about making sure, keeping my body injury free.
Yes, very much so. And sharpening up again after the fatigue. You know?
Yeah, getting more mentally back in that. Exactly. So it's pretty much, I feel like if you looked at it, like the massive peak week of training would have been end of year yanks. I think.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of it's long, slow taper, even if you look at it that way.
It's kind of just a long taper. And I think that big block there will probably set you up really well, and now you just need to kind of maintain that fitness, but you don't want to do anything too much. So
so I think 2 bays would probably be the longest. 50. Yeah, the 50. Yeah, what's that? 56.
Yeah. So you're doing 2 bays.
I'm doing 2 bays. So
I'll be there sweeping, so I won't see you. Oh no, we'll see you on the way back. So.
Oh, you swept last year, didn't you?
I sweep every year.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And so that's and that's probably good timing as well. You know, sort of mid-Jan. Yeah. What date is the Delirious West?
Oh, so it's on the 5th. I think it's. I should know this. I just booked flights.
I hope you booked the flights at the right time.
Yeah, it's the weekend. It's the weekend after it opens at the 5th. So I'd say
the 12th or 13th or something.
Yeah, 12 sounds right in my head.
Yeah.
Something. I'm pretty sure it's a 12.
And that'll be good. Yeah. Well, we'll be all watching to see how you go, and that's going to be pretty interesting. And then it's about 8 to 10 weeks before the next one, isn't it?
Yes.
And then about the same block. This is what Sean was telling me before the 3rd.
Yeah.
So that's that leads us to what? June.
So I think Rational South from memory is in April.
Yeah.
It's the 2nd week of April, and then Unreasonable East, so New South Wales, that's June. It's halfway through June.
Yep. So that's the first half of the year sorted for racing. Yeah. Are you gonna? I mean, I know the answer will be no. Then rest and focus on the following year, or have you got some other goals for later in the year?
Well, it's I feel that naive and bad saying this, but even for the first half,
you're going to slot in some other races, aren't you?
Yeah. And everyone would think of it as the stupidest thing, because it probably is. But I am looking at these other runs as more
training
runs. They're kind of running with my partner and that kind of thing, because I have entered the Buffalo Stampede.
Oh, cool. Yep.
The Grand Slam for that weekend. Which
yeah.
This is where it's super stupid, and I'm going to go by feel. So I don't want to. I've paid and everything, but we're going to see, because the 200 miles is the focus. But that is also, I think, 5 days before Irrational. 200 mile. Looking into it. The way I'm looking at it is. I know my body when it comes to those things, especially the pace I'll be going. It's not going to be super intense. A lot of walking.
So are you doing it with? Is Mel doing the Grand Slam as well?
Yeah, I was in the Grand Slam.
So you're going to do the whole thing with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my thought. I'm doing it, but it's not the race. I'm not pushing, and it's just more walking for me. So that was the thought going to it. So I am supposed to be doing that. And then also May. In May, I'm doing Down Under again.
Oh, okay.
But I also intend to do that with Mel as well. So that's her ultimate goal,
Okay.
is to finish Down Under as one of the women to do it. So
I'm doing that one too, actually.
are you? Oh, it's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that'd be good. Then I hope we can get 2 women finishes.
Oh, let's hope. I mean, I've done Barkley in March, so you know, we'll see.
March, April, May. It's 2
Yeah,
months.
plenty of time.
You got
And a
time.
holiday in Canada, so you know.
Oh, that's great. You're going to Canada?
Yeah.
Oh,
After Barkley, yeah.
Relax a bit.
Yeah, might as well, seeing as I'm over there.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, I was okay. So the only concern I have with the Buffalo Grand Slam is the 75K, if you're going at a slower pace, will be an incredibly long time.
Yes, the sleep.
And
And it's now 100K as well now.
Oh, sorry, what?
They've changed it. It's 100K now. So once you go up to Mount Buffalo, they've got you going to the Horn.
Well, I knew there was 100K. I thought there was 100K as well as 75.
Oh, maybe there is. Oh, maybe there is a 75 too. But I know I'm doing the 100. That's all I know.
So the Grand Slam is what on the first day? 25?
That's 12 now.
Okay.
12 on the first day, 100K second day, then the marathon.
Okay, because when I did the Grand Slam, it was the 25, 75 marathon.
Yeah, this used to be.
All
That's
right.
changed this year.
Still, the 100K, oh my God, that's going to be even longer, and which means lack of sleep.
I doubt I'll be getting much sleep on that day.
And before a miler, you kind of need to be banking sleep.
You do
200 miler, you know.
Yeah. So, a lot of it would depend. I guess see how I go delirious. With my sleep and how I've never done a 200 miler, and so I don't know how I'm going to pull up like the naive.
I think with the 200 miler, you kind of you will need to sleep.
I plan on sleeping. In my head at the moment, I've got like I'm going to force myself to sleep each night 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then if I need extra, especially on the first one, it's unknown territory for me, so I'm not going to go and try and get some super fast time and blitz it. It's silly, I think.
And then ruin yourself for the rest of the year.
Yes. So
no, that's smart. And also you'll sort of, and then you'll be able to at the next one go, well, that was maybe I didn't need quite that much sleep, or I needed more, or whatever.
And then I can see how I pull up, how it affects the body, and then I can reevaluate the next one for rational and see how that works with Buffalo. Yeah,
no, that sounds like a good plan. But that's just something to keep in mind for Buffalo. But you're doing it to support Mel, so I think you should do it. But it's just something to, it
is something to think about.
And maybe after that week after, make sure you're not doing night shift at work or something.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, well, look, it'd be good to then catch up with you again after Delirious West, if that would be all right, because I know people love following your training because you do epic shit, basically. You do, and it's like amazing, and everyone is just in awe. So it's always great to hear about it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I look forward to it. Yeah.
And thank you so much. As everyone knows, you give us your thoughts each week in the podcast, and I know people love hearing about it. And do you ever get comments from people yourself ever?
Yeah, it's funny you mention that. I do get a few. Yeah, it's weird. Even when I'm out there running, you have a few people, and
good.
A few, like I know GSCR and Macedon, I've had a few, and all of them. And it's really good because some of them, they're giving. It's apparently helping them give out goes at other.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It really resonates with people, and to know that someone like you, feels and thinks the same thing, it just makes people feel better about feeling that,
Yeah, I find we're all really, at the end of the day, we're all so similar.
Yes, we are, really.
We all have the same issues, same things. Yeah. It's all kind of.
Yeah, but we all put on the happy face and no one ever knows. And that's why you have the courage to share it. And that's what's great.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
No, it's all good.
All righty. Well, thanks so much for that chat. And we'll, like I said, we'll keep in touch and see how the 200 milers go.
Yeah, it'll be good. Thank you.
All righty. Have a good Christmas.
Cheers, you too.
Bye.
Bye.